Greetings. Welcome home to Grace Avenue United Methodist Church. We're so grateful that you have joined us for Sounds of the Season. My name is Billy Echols-Richter, and I have the joy of being one of the pastors at Grace Avenue. You know, every year, one of the things that makes this such a wonderful time is we experience great music and hear wonderful stories. And this year, even in the midst of a pandemic, when we can't gather together and hear those performances live, we still wanted to gather together and share those stories and hear that beautiful music in a virtual way. So that's what we're going to do over the next 3 weeks. And we'll hope that you'll join us as we spend this time together. We're going to spend time during this Advent period thinking about the music of hope, the music of peace, the music of joy, and the music of love. We're going to hear some lighthearted, secular Christmas songs, and we're going to hear some beautiful, sacred Christmas and Advent music. And so I hope that you'll join us each and every week. But today, we think about songs of hope. And so we start with a wonderful song that is the favorite of many children, young and old. We're going to hear a beautiful piano piece from our director of instrumental music, Insup Young, and his spouse, Dr. Hee C. Young, who we know as Sonny. They're going to play a four-hand piece. We'll all revel in the beautiful and wonderful idea that Santa Claus is coming to town.
Around Christmas time, many of us will gather around the Christmas tree, around the fireplace, and we'll begin to tell stories. And one of the stories that we tell at our house is about the time my grandmother and I were in the car. It was Christmas time. I can remember the trees wrapped with lights, and we were trying to get to the church when she became lost. Now, this isn't like when you get lost in 2020, right? When we get lost, we pull our phones out and GPS tells us exactly where we are, and then we can find our way. Well, this is before GPS, and so when she got lost, she was really lost. And I don't know if you've ever been lost in Houston, but it can be a really scary thing. And so she was trying to find her way, and finally she said, Christopher, I'm so sorry, but I think we're lost. I'm going to try to pull over and find directions. To which I replied, oh, babe, we're not lost. You just need to go over that hill over there, and you're going to see the church on your right after just a little while. And she said, it feels strange to put all your faith and trust in a child, but I thought, what do I have to lose? And so I went over the hill, and sure enough, I saw the steeple for the church on our right, and I knew that all was well. You see, during the Christmas season, we put all of our faith and hope in a child, in the birth of Jesus Christ, in the incarnation of God among us. And we know because of that all is well. All is well is the title of our next song, and Laurie's going to tell us a little bit about it.
One thing that brings me hope is the gift of friendship. Friends that love you no matter what. Friends that love you through thick and through thin. I have been blessed with some wonderful friends in my life. And the women that you are fixing to hear sing are those kinds of friends for me. We are ministers of music from all around the Dallas area. One even lives in Arkansas. And through the miles, we continue to meet every Friday afternoon. We've met every Friday for 15 years. I've known most of these women for at least 15 years, some much longer than that. But they are those kinds of friends for me. We were asked several weeks ago if we would participate in the Perkins Advent worship service, and we were so honored to be asked. We all are so busy with our own ministries of music that we've never had time to make music together. And so what a joy and an honor it was to make music together. So this is John Levitt's All Is Well. I hope you enjoy.
The sounds of the season, they offer us such that gift of hope. There's this powerful story about a farmer who knew that a winter storm was coming. and he knew he needed to go out and tend to the cows that were out in the barn. As he left his house, he turned on the porch light. He took a rope and tied it to the porch and took the rope with him all the way to the barn. He tied it up at the barn, fed the cows, took care of them, and when he came out of the barn, it was a whiteout. He couldn't see a thing, but he grabbed hold of that rope. And he used that rope to follow it all the way back to where he could finally see that vague light shining from the porch. And he knew he was on his way home. The Advent wreath, the candles, they are a gift, well, like that rope, that offer us a guide to Christmas, reminding us of the gifts that God offers us in the midst of the season. Hope, peace, joy, and love. I hope that you will put out the candles and a wreath throughout the season. We still have some at the church if you would like one. And as you listen to the sounds of the season, filling your soul and your heart, may you continue to know that God offers us the gifts of hope, peace, joy, and love that will guide us to Christmas all the way through Advent and guide us back home to share the light of Christ.
I am so incredibly grateful for the choir and thankful for the ways that we continue to be able to make music. So in case you missed it on Sunday, here's the Sanctuary Choir singing John Nesbeck's Every Valley.
Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain made low, and the crooked made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain made low, and the crooked straight, and the rough places plain, and all flesh shall see it together. For the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and the flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken
One thing I love to do during the holidays is to go to the mailbox. I love to go to the mailbox because I know that there's going to be a surprise waiting. There's going to be a card, a letter, a picture from someone who I haven't heard from in a very long time. someone that I can reconnect with, a picture of children that have grown, stories of things that have happened in their lives. Just a wonderful way to reconnect. I was going through some old things and I found some old pictures of Robert's Christmas cards past. This first picture, I hope you can see. This was Jacob's first Christmas. And we always used to caption our Christmas cards. I think this one was "Have an overall Merry Christmas." Something goofy. And then here we are all in our Christmas pajamas. And then the last one I'll subject you to. And I think the caption to this one was, "Here's whistling you a Merry Christmas." Something goofy. We were kind of goofy back in the day, but people might think we're still kind of goofy now. But we used to send Christmas cards every year, and we've gotten away from that, and that kind of makes me sad. But I think this year we're going to send Christmas cards again because it's important for us to connect. Back in the early 1920s, there was an Episcopal priest that used to send Christmas cards, and he would make original Christmas cards writing melody and lyrics. And his son took notice. And when his father died, his son took over the tradition. And then from the 1940s and the 1950s, Alfred Burt began writing Christmas cards. And he wrote music and some of our most beloved Christmas carols. He wrote 15 well-known carols. Caroling, Caroling is probably his most well-known. And then another song called Some Children See Him. Some Children See Him is actually my favorite of all the Alfred Burt carols. It talks about children all over the world and how they see the baby Jesus. Whether you see him with fair skin and light hair, or dark skin and dark hair, wherever you live in the world, you have a different picture of Jesus. But one thing that remains the same is the love and the light that comes from Jesus, and that the light that we all feel in our hearts, especially this time of year. So I'm going to sing for you now, Some Children See Him by Alfred Burt.
Some children see him lily white, the baby Jesus born this night. Some children see him lily white, with tresses soft and fair. Some children see him bronzed and brown, the Lord of heaven to earth come down. Some children see him bronzed and brown, with dark and heavy hair. Some children see him almond-eyed, this Savior whom we kneel beside. Some children see him almond-eyed, with skin of yellow hue. Some children see him dark as they, sweet Mary's Son, to whom we pray. Some children see him dark as they, and they love him too. The children in each different place will see the baby Jesus' face like theirs, but bright with heavenly grace and filled with holy light. Oh, lay aside each earthly thing, and with your heart as offering, come worship now the infant King. 'Tis love that's born tonight.
What a wonderful way to continue on our Advent journey as we've listened to these songs and stories of hope. You know, I'm reminded of a great quote by the author Henry Nouwen, who wrote one time that life is Advent. He said, "For God is always coming. The Lord is always coming to us. And when you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear it, you can recognize that God is in your presence at any moment." Henry Nouwen says, therefore, Advent is life, and life is Advent, because the good news is that God is always coming to us. I think that is such a hopeful idea as we continue in these very unusual and uncertain days. But we lean on that hope, and we know that once again, God's presence is always with us and coming into our midst. We give thanks for that today. Remember that this coming weekend we have great events that are going on at Grace Avenue as part of the Advent and Christmas season. I hope that you'll go onto our website, graceavenue.org, and check them out. And I look forward to being with you again next week as we join together in Sounds of the Season.